Yes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to the Canadian Bro Show.
Your attention, please.
Episode 13.
The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7,
yeah, baby.
6.
Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whoa, my goodness.
Just wait for 40 seconds.
Thank you very much, everyone. We have a crowd of 6. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 13 of the Canadian Bro Show. All basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and ROWLEY. Thanks for joining us. I just wanted to welcome everybody back for episode 13. Trent ROWLEY, the legend, the co-host with the most. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Oh, what happened there? Well, there we go.
Oh, you still with us?
I'm doing great. I'm
Excellent.
doing wonderful.
Well, that's good. And you're healing from the surgery, and you've got color in your cheeks. You've been out in the snow today?
Fully recovered. Out with the snowshoes yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody, welcome back. For those that haven't been here, Trent and I are Hoop Junkies. That is a slang for somebody that has an obscene amount of basketball knowledge, passion, and we've decided to convert it into the second iteration of the Canadian Bro Show. The first iteration of the Canadian Bro Show is all things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny, and I just uploaded episode 27 today. And really happy about that. And this is episode 13 with Trent ROWLEY, the host of the most. And you'll notice in the top right-hand corner of just above Trent's head is the subscribe button. We will only do this once. It is in the ticker below. For those that are interested in the content of this show, thank you, Trent. Yeah, you're close. Your hand's a heck of a lot bigger than the one on the subscribe button. But please subscribe. It means a lot to us. And we've got 35 subscriptions, which is a minuscule, but certainly a start. And we're trying to get to 500 for monetization and to really lift off this channel. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm going to take that back off, and I'm going to put our logo, which I really enjoy. Let's start the show. Trent, we're talking about all things basketball. What we like to do normally is, let me just increase this, is we like to start off with NBA fantasy basketball because in fantasy basketball, Trent and I have drafted in the same league. And it's been very interesting. Week 13 has not been good to me. I got slaughtered 0-9. I don't know if that's ever happened before in 21 years of playing fantasy. But when I looked at the guy's team, I was like, dude, who drafted his team? If it was him, he did a great job because he's just it's scary. It just shows you the talent. Out of the 10 teams, there is some serious talent. I dropped down to 5th, I believe. I was in 2nd, and I believe Trent's right behind me at 6. So we both kind of had a struggle of the week at Yahoo Basketball Fantasy. For those that don't follow fantasy basketball, we play in a 9-category league. The 9 categories represent all of the categories that are relevant in basketball: field goals, foul shots, three-point percentage, scoring, assist, rebounds, steals, and of course turnovers, the deadly turnovers. And it's really fun. I've been doing this since 21 years now. I've got 8 teams. I'm a little bit of a hardcore hoop junkie when it comes to it. Some say you have too much free time in your hands. It's absolutely not the case. It's just I've got to start my day at 7 o'clock in the morning instead of 9 o'clock in the morning in order to get everything done and ready for my real job. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm a landlord and also a real estate investor. And that's what we're working on. That's the 3rd iteration, which is going to be all real estate. Yeah, I am. Actually, what my old teammate, Chris Wright, shout out to Chris, thank you for helping me out, is creating a new logo for my real estate 3rd iteration. But in the meantime, Trent, What's going on in your fantasy team? Why did you experience a rough week? What happened?
A couple subs. I could have subbed a couple people a little bit better with what I did. The last night on Saturday night, I should have subbed out Christian Braun and um, Keegan Murray for Andrew Wiggins and D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
And Braun played in the afternoon, so I was too late on that one. And yeah, I mean, it would have helped. It probably would have still been 5-4 against me, but and my big guys, all of them, Allen, Zubac, and Duran, were all like 9 rebounds, 8 rebounds. They didn't have those typical 12, 14, 13, 16 rebound games.
Right.
So this is the first week that I've actually lost in the rebounding total. I usually won that one every week with
Right.
the big men I have.
Right.
And
Right.
that was the first week that I have never won that one. And all of them were in single digits most of the week. So that kind of hurt me. But
Mm.
picking up D'Angelo Russell, I think is good. I think Murray from Sacramento is about to find himself as a free agent. If I can find someone better, he is just really down year. He's so hit and miss. He seemed like he was starting to really improve last year, and he seemed to have taken a step back here this year for Sacramento.
Well, last year actually took a step back as well. His first year, he
Or
actually
yeah,
played great.
yeah,
Last year, I drafted him, and but his scoring's dropped off, his rebounds dropped off, and his 3 point
yeah.
percentage all dropped off significantly. He doesn't add anything else, and
No,
he
and he
never
gets lots of
smiles. He
touches.
never
He
shows
gets lots of
joy.
minutes. Yeah, he
And
gets lots of minutes and he gets lots of touches, and it's
yeah,
just not happening.
no, it isn't. It's that's unfortunate. And the dude I played
We'll
beat
see.
me 9 categories, 0 to 9. He beat me all 9, and I looked at
And
the matchups.
You couldn't even win the turnovers.
Well, no, I mean, and he even beat me in turnovers, which is not surprising because I'm usually terrible in turnovers. But it was just a bad week, and my
Yeah,
players, I've got a lot of injuries, a lot of game time decisions, a lot of guys taking a personal leave, just wacky injuries, just bad timing. It was just one of those weeks where
yeah.
you just got to put it away and focus on the next week. And I got up early and I did my teams and I looked at the waiver wire ads. Do you want to talk about the waiver wire connected?
No, let's
Um,
do it. Let's do it.
so last week was week 13. This is week 14 as of today, Monday. And the big one is Kalel Ware, the
Yeah.
7 footer for the Miami Heat. I picked him up on 6 of my 8 teams. The dude that just beat me picked it up about 15 seconds before I had a chance to. And he got the benefit of 3 incredible games in a row from the rookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on the Heat team, that can be hit and miss. But when you're looking at a kid dropping 20, 10, and 2, and he's 7 foot and long and smooth as butter, I watched him play in the summer league. And in the
Really?
preseason, I was like, this kid is going to be special. I just didn't think it would happen this early. And, well, I just jumped on that bandwagon. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I did because he's played 4 games as a starter. And even his last game wasn't that great, 7.6 rebounds, but he had 2 blocks. And that block category, if a big gives you 2 blocks,
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
happy right
Yep.
there. As
Agreed.
long as he's giving you 8, 9 rebounds minimum, right?
Yeah.
But so I would say Kalel Ware. It's probably too late because he already finished the 4 game. They had a 4 game week,
Right.
and he averaged in the 4 game week like 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, great field, and a couple of threes. Like the kid is just really special. I love him.
Like
Uh,
potential. A lot of potential.
Absolutely, and they certainly know that, and that's why they've been patient. And with the trade deadline coming up in less than a week, you're going to see 5, 6, 7, 8 players, top players moved, and one of them is going to be on the Miami Heat. We'll talk about him later. The other one that's playing really well is Jaden McDaniels, who I know you flirted with picking him up and then dropped him on your team.
Well,
Is
I've had him like 3 times, 3 different times I've had him.
It just shows you what his problem is. He's very inconsistent,
Yeah.
and at the same time, Dante Vincenzo went down,
Yeah.
and Dante's eating up 28 minutes a game, and
Yeah.
Jaden's going to get the vast majority of that. And one of the things that Jaden McDaniels gives you, he's 6'9" and really long, is he's playing for a big payday, and he's not a big fan of Minnesota's weather, but he's a big fan of big coin, getting paid. And where he brings into fantasy, like in real life, he is a fantastic defensive player with that length. He gives you stocks. Stocks are,
Hey,
in hoop jargon, steals and blocks. And he's a hustler. And he's not the greatest athlete in the world, but he gives you a little bit of everything. And
here's a
right
hit you
now,
out three.
yeah, I mean, really, there's only two players carrying the Minnesota team right now, and that's Edwards, of course, who's just going ballistic as I expected, and then of course, finally, Randall is starting to,
Playing better.
yeah, he's starting to get more assists. He's
Yeah.
a 2010 guy. He can give you 5, 6, 7, 8 assists. He's very unselfish, and I think McDaniels is a really nice add to that front court mix in the short term. What they get off the bench from the backcourt is anybody's guess. That being said, another big who I scooped and I'm a big fan of, Nick Richards. I got him on five of my 8 teams, and I was lucky to get him. And he's played really well. He had one low scoring game of 5 points, but he had 15 rebounds, 2 blocks, and just last night he had 21 and 11, and or nine. He had 19 rebounds and 20 points, 19 boards,
Yeah.
and Yusuf Nurkic, who it's cricket. Where Nusif, where he's played himself out of the league as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. It sure seems like it.
Yeah, it really does. It's really sad because he's got talent. Spencer Dinwiddie, anybody that shoots 36% from the field,
Yeah.
I don't care how well they play, I can't pick him up. But
You know what? And the thing is with him is that there's always he's always going to get minutes because he's playing behind Kyrie and Luca, and one of those two seem to be always hurt. They barely play games together. So
well,
there's
Luca's
when
just
one of those
been
guys is hurt,
decimated.
he's a good pickup when one of those guys is hurt because he
Yeah.
gets a bunch of minutes.
He
So
gets a lot of usage in minutes, but he can't shoot
yeah,
worth a lick. He's got a
I'm not a
wonky shot.
fan. I'm not a fan either. So that's
No, and honestly, if we could get an update on Luca, that would be great. How long can you be out with a calf contusion? Seriously, how long? Right, and I'm
uh,
worried that guy's going to be out so long. He's going to be drinking a 2-4 Pilsner every day. So that's a big problem. But next guy,
yeah,
another guy's been injured, who is a very integral part of the San Antonio Spurs, is Jeremy Sohan. Has a new
yeah,
hair color every week, and in
yeah.
France it was a magenta blue. It was lovely. Didn't do very much, and hasn't done very much, but he's a power forward, and he can give you 15 and 10. And so if you like
Yeah,
those rebound guys,
he's like another. He's like the protege of Mr. Triple Single himself, because that's basically what he does. That's his new. That must be his mentor. Just when you look at his game
well,
numbers.
they both like to stand out. That's for sure. He shoots his
Okay.
foul shots one-handed, and he shoots his threes with two-handed. So who knows what's going on? Shoe color, hair color. Some people just like to be noticed because they feel that they're not being noticed. I don't
The
know what
new
it is.
young Mr. Triple Single.
Yeah, he's the new Dennis Rodman. Um,
No,
and
no, he's not.
no, he
Dennis
could be.
Rodman had 8 straight rebounding titles.
I
Don't
know, but
in
it
Hall of
took him a
Fame,
while. It took him a while.
right?
And the next guy who's off injured more often than not is playing on a great team, and that's Terry Eason.
Mhm.
I'm reluctant to pick him up. Period. I know you've flirted with him,
Yeah, a couple times.
and
Yeah,
yeah, it's just he's, he. It's about minutes though. They're so stacked and so deep, and they're fifth best defensive player or team in the league, and they've got so much depth. Is you just never know where the rotation's going to go, and I need a guy that's
yeah,
going to play minimum 28 minutes a game, minimum.
yeah. It's yeah. He's and it's up and down. Like I got him the one time I picked him up, he was on a heater. He was
Yeah,
hit like 3 great games,
yeah,
and then I dumped him after the next game. It wasn't very good. And then the next time I picked him up, it was basically he didn't have really any good games. So I'm like, okay, so it's again it's that consistency thing and it's minutes. And I
yeah,
mean, then he got injured a little bit.
yeah.
So yeah,
And they have pretty good depth, and the young coach that's taken
yeah,
over
they
for
do.
Pop, Willie Hills,
Yeah,
is really working that bench nicely. And the next one is on Portland. Brought him up before. Tumani Kamara just had his best game as a pro last night. 25 points, nice rebounds, really filled it across. Is he going to do that every night? Probably not. But he is 6'9". He's long, and it looks like he's going to be a talent in the league in the near future. And they love him.
a lot of Portland has a lot of young, long guys.
Yeah,
6'6", 6'7", 6'9". 6'10", all these guys, and they all have wingspans of 7-footers. They're all
Yeah.
athletes.
Well, and they got three
The
seven
time,
footers as well, right?
the Time Lord's even trying to do his thing once in a
Yeah,
while right
the
now.
Time Lord is his time in Portland is toast. He's going to get traded because the
Well,
Time
and
Lord.
Aiton finally started to play a little bit. Like,
Well, I mean, if you call that playing,
so,
I'll
well,
stay away from Aiden. Honestly,
yeah,
once he got paid, that's all.
yeah,
Everything's butter now. He
yeah,
doesn't care,
okay,
and cling on the big 7 footer.
yeah, yeah.
He's just not there yet. He's really raw.
Yeah, he's very rough.
And then you talk about the Time Lord. He's toast. The guy in his career had a couple of incredible games and has been injured for 85% of his career. I'd stay away from that guy. Period. Next guy I'm going to talk about is Derek Jones Jr. Is really fitting in nicely as a sixth, seventh man rotation player. He's 6'8", but his arm length, he's got a 7'5"
He's
wingspan.
starting some games.
He's starting now, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on Mr. Left Knee, bone on bone, if he's ever going to play.
Even Powell's been nicked up a little bit, so he's been playing a little bit more for sure.
Yeah, but Powell had 33 and 6
Yeah.
last night. I mean,
Yep.
he's a keeper. I love Powell, and what Harden's doing. I've never really been a huge Harden fan, but I got to give him kudos this year. I really didn't expect it. I've got him on 2 of my teams, and he's flirty. He had another triple double, 79 triple doubles. I mean, that's really impressive. Dude's like 36, 35. So I really impressed him how he's doing it. Next one is Josh Lloyd is Locked On Sports. The Oz, I think he's the best fantasy podcast head dude in the world. Myself, I watch his show relentlessly. He likes Nick Smith Jr. because there's nothing left of the Charlotte backcourt. They've just decimated by injuries, and you don't know if LaMelo Ball is going to, blow out another ankle or one of his gold caps pops out. Who knows what's going on? They're tanking. They're going for the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, but the kid is a gunner off the bench, and some people like him. I'm not going to touch him with a 10-foot flagpole myself. And then the last one I don't even want to mention, but I will. Luke Kennard, one of the most overrated players in the NBA. I think somebody gave him $60 million contract 4 years, about 4 years ago, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" The guy does one thing and one thing only, and that he's a lefty shooter, and he's always injured. Stay away from him. He'll have 3 good games in a season, and that's it. And then he'll just disappear. Take your check and hit the golf course.
He's the new JJ Redick. What a surprise that he comes from Duke.
Oh God, here we go. You can tell that Trent's a big fan of Duke.
I love Duke. It's
Yeah.
great.
And speaking of Duke, unless you want to add anything to the fantasy segment and the waiver wire segment,
I think you'd be smart to look at anybody who gets nicked up or missing games for Miami because there's 35 minutes a game that they need to fill because of Jimmy Butler's situation. So Miami's definitely a place to. There's going to be some more minutes for some people that weren't getting them. And if you might
yeah,
be
I
able to
mean,
fill those guys, I'm not a fan of a lot, but there's going to be there's going to be minutes. There's minutes. There's 35 minutes a game that they got to figure out who's playing it. So
Jaime Vasquez Jr. is going to take up probably 25 of those minutes, and I think what they'll do is they'll play big ball with Kal Ware as the center and put Bam over at power forward and play that sort of vibe to eat up another 10, 15 minutes if Coach Spo actually plays Ware, because his rotations can be all over the place, right? Then you got Duncan Robinson, who comes in, he's starting, and he's like a 6'8" shooting guard that plays the point. You got Tyler Hero. I mean, who knows if
Duncan Robinson was really good like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he's just inconsistent.
And they got paid, and it was like, nah.
But I just wanted to go back to, before we get back into the NBA, I want to just bring up a couple of rock stars. And we were doing a segment quite often on the Duke freshman Cooper Flag because Trent brought up his complete disdain for the Duke franchise, if you will. At the end of the day, the kid he draws major praise from Coach K, the Duke legend, retired coach, in a stunning freshman season. Duke freshman Cooper Flagg has quickly become the talk of college basketball, dazzling fans and critics alike with his all-round game and dropping highlights and continued improvement in all areas of his basketball game. His maturity is just going through the roof, and he's one and done. He'll be the first pick in the draft, barring some major injury. And even if he
Yeah.
is injured, he'll still be number one. I don't care what anybody says. Even the two kids from Auburn, Ace and the other, they're great. But Cooper is going to be number one pick. From his
Yeah.
ability to score and rebound to his knack for delivering electrifying dunks, Flagg is putting together one of the most impressive freshman campaigns in recent seasons. One of the loudest voices praising Flagg is none other than legendary Duke coach, Coach K. Speaking on his show, Basketball and Beyond with Coach K, did not hold back in his assessment of the 18-year-old, labeling him as the best player in the country for their number 3 ranked team in the country currently, and I believe number 1 in the ACC. Um, Coach K goes on and goes, the kid is 18 and he's just such a great teammate. You can see it from the bench. He has joy for his teammates. He's unselfish. And yet he's only 18. He knows all of his stuff. He's joyful with this group. And when he's not joyful with the opponent, he's a hell of a competitor. He's the best player in the country. This is Coach K, and I completely concur with that. I know Trent does. We brought him up many times.
Yeah.
Whether you like his college or not, he will be the number one player, and I think he will be a future All-Star in the NBA for many years to come. Flagg's numbers back up Coach K's glowing endorsement. The projected number 1 pick in the NBA draft is averaging 19 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, 4.1 assists, while contributing over a steal and a block on defense. Excuse me. This is the ninth day of the flu, and I think I've got it. I think I've got it sorted. And there I go. Oh my God. Oh, isn't that lovely? Perfect timing. These type of stats, it's a good thing there's no phlegm coming up. These type of stats help Duke secure a 15-2 record so far this season. Well, the Blue Devils are holding down the number 3 spot in the rankings. It's just nice to hear from Coach K, right? Can you imagine being a guy like Coach K and he just retires and disappears, and then you forget about him for a sec because the guy that took over from Duke has done a very nice job. Just last week, Flab delivered the performance of ages, scoring 42 points in a win over Notre Dame, setting the ACC's single game scoring record for a freshman. The feat not only highlighted his scoring ability, but also cemented his reputation as one of the top players in the nation, regardless of class. For a program with a storied history of star players, whether you like the program or the players, does not matter. History is history. Flagg's early dominance has put him in rarefied air, drawing comparisons to some of the all-time greats who have worn Duke blue, and there's quite a few, whether you like them or not. Well, with many hoping his impressive performances continue, and the expectations are likewise enhanced. I would say that they are. How do you feel?
After watching you, like,
How do you feel?
I don't know, you're convulsing over there. But
No, I mean, it's the end of the flu, and it was unfortunate. I apologize, but it's been 9 days, and I feel much
uh,
better.
of course, I brought him up to begin with. He's obviously going to be the number 1 pick. If you think Charlotte's playing for them, they got some losing to do because Washington's 6 wins behind them. So he could become a Washington Bullet, and I will not call them the Wizards. They're the Washington Bullets. I don't
Oh,
care what
God.
anybody says.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, he's going to be the number 1 pick, barring some crazy, injury or something. And there's a couple really good players. There's a kid at Rutgers that's leading the NCAA in scoring. Um, he got locked down a little bit the other night, but he's just the size. The guy's going to grow into his body. I mean, he's going to be a large man by the time that guy's 25, he's going to probably be built like, Blake Griffin kind of thing at 6'10". He's going to be a big kid. You can see it in his shoulders, and
yeah,
he's a really good athlete. He's only going to
yeah,
become stronger and a better athlete.
yeah,
So he's going to be the number 1 pick. I would be amazed unless some dumb GM, as we've talked about, decides that he's going to pick some kid, 16-year-old kid from France, and hope that he's going to be good in, you know, 5 years. This guy's legit. Step into your lineup and play 35 minutes a game. as a rookie right now. That's how I look at it. We could be totally wrong, but he's uh he's got very few doubters, and he should.
Yeah.
He's a pretty talented kid.
Well, I mean, he's extremely talented, and we're both on the same page. Like I think it's quite obvious. He's just by far the best player in college basketball, and I'd love to just bring up after watching him once again, the best player in the NBA, in my opinion. I think he's the leading MVP candidate. I know SGA is right behind him, but
Yeah,
what the Joker Nikola Jokic, what he did just last week alone, just
yeah,
my mouth, my jaw just dropped open, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Trent sent me a text while I was having coffee in the early morning. He goes, "Did you watch that game?" And of course, I did the night before. I mean, the guy is just going nuts. He's had 5 triple doubles in a row, and he takes an inbound pass with 1.7 seconds left in the third quarter and let fly a 66-foot heave that got nothing but
yeah,
net. And as soon as it left his hand, he was like in Serbian, that is in, whatever
yeah.
Serbian is, and the whole place just went nuts. And then Russell Westbrook, who is a really great pickup for Denver, he's playing really revitalized his career at a late stage, turning 37. He has more energy than any 36-year-old player in the NBA, next
Yeah,
to the King, of
no
course.
question. Yeah,
And he's been an excellent starting incision, and it really needed, because now that Murray doesn't have to worry about anything else, just be Murray. He's playing better in the second,
yeah,
or
yeah,
going into the second half of the first half of the year.
yeah.
And Russell Westbrook, never one to hold back his thoughts. I thought it had a chance, and then boom, it went in. And the best part of it was no reaction from him, which I love.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just he just rolls his shoulders, and he
Yeah,
just walks back and da, da, da.
oh, yeah, man. He's it's easy. It's
Oh,
easy.
it's so easy, Trent. It's ridiculous. He makes it look easier than anybody I've ever seen at
Yeah,
7 foot, 255 pounds. And I mean, it was just incredible. He finished in that game 35 points. Like, these are Wilt Chamberlain numbers: 35
mhm.
points, 22 rebounds, a season high 17 assists. He is literally, the offense is going through him every single play through 4 quarters for literally 45 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
It's incredible. And then coach goes, and then a shot from 3 quarters stood out. He goes, oh, and then Coach Malone goes, oh, not surprising. He's the guy that just has this uncanny ability. And just to show his continued improvement, which is incredible for a 7 footer. Yes, I know he's from Europe. Yes, he's from Bosnia. Some of the greatest basketball players in the world are from Bosnia. They're incredible. They love basketball. It's their favorite sport. But he goes, Jokic took his low percentage shot, but saw a 3-point average rise. He is now shooting 48% from three as a 7 footer, and he was never a 3-point shooter like Brooke Lopez was for the
no,
majority of his career. And Brooks turning 37, by the way. So he plays like he's going to make every shot. He passes it like his teammates are going to make everything shot. He has this uncanny ability to put up historical numbers and do it consistently. And he's now averaging a triple double for the season: 30.2 points, 13.4 rebounds, 10 assists. And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, what more can I say? I thank God I drafted him on 2 of my teams.
and then
Uh,
meanwhile, SGA drops like 52 with like
54.
8 assists.
I
Yeah, like
was
I mean,
not
man.
with not being mentioned, but and
So
he's
yeah,
Canadian, but absolutely,
yeah,
Trent. It's
yeah,
really impressive. And according to the NBA, Jokic joins Wilt Chamberlain, the legendary Wilt the
yeah.
Stilt, as the
Mhm.
only players in NBA history to record a game with at least 35 points, 20 rebounds, 15 assists. And it's going to keep on happening, and I hope I win a championship with him on one of my 8 teams, because
Yeah. Well, I'm playing against the guy who has him this week.
oh, really, eh? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
kind of tough. That's kind of
that's
tough.
never it's never good.
Um, so the NBA Players of the Year, or of the week, I should say, for last week was Jaren. I don't think this guy gets enough press. the Triple J's of Memphis Grizzlies, and one of the reasons why they're playing so well is Jaren
Right.
Jackson Jr., the
Yep.
6'11". He's a power forward center combo.
Michigan State Sparty, baby.
He really is impressive, and he's playing well. And for the first time in his young career, he's staying healthy and he's showing moxie. And he's out
I
there producing. He blocks shots, he hits threes, he drops dimes, he's rebounding finally. He's actually
Yep.
rebounding. And I love the
That's a big
kid.
thing.
I love the kid. And Scotty Barnes also
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
And both of them are really a mere reflection of each other. They have a lot of similarities. And you can see why that, Darren Jackson Jr. with the upstart Memphis Grizzlies are playing really well. They could be leading the NBA in scoring right now, and they're the fifth or sixth best defensive team. And big Zach Edey wearing the mask, looking like a menace on the court, had a great game last night, and they have depth. And sometimes depth can be a huge burden, like Houston Rockets. But so far, these two young teams, the Rockets and Memphis specifically, they're both playing virtually identical type basketball.
Yep. Yep.
So I just thought I'd bring that up, really quick. And the NBA actually brought in a new category, and the NBA is calling it the NBA Defensive Player of the Month. They never had it before, and I'm glad they did. I think it's great. It's good to be recognized. And looks like Victor Wembanyama, who only played 2 games in Paris, but really showcased his ability with the second game against Indiana.
Defensive Player of the Year. So
Most definitely. We said that last year, and we're going to say it this year. And he got robbed last
yeah,
year.
you got
Um,
robbed.
oh, he's going to get it this year for sure. He's leading the NBA with over 4 blocks a game. And then Dyson Daniels, this kid,
Yeah.
so happy to get out of the Pelicans and find his way. Now he's on an injury depleted Atlanta squad. And thank God he's playing, because he's actually learned to score. He stays within his game. And people don't realize the kid's 6'7"
Right.
and long, and he is just, I love him. I really think he deserves it. So really those three players, and Jaren Jackson Jr. of course, was named the Player of the Month in December, which is just a month ago. And and then you got to bring up the Greek Freak, right? Because the NBA Players of the Week, and one player I just did not, and I brought it up briefly in episode 12, how I made a mistake on not drafting, and I had sixth, seventh round availability, and I should have grabbed Jalen Green, and I just didn't feel he would take that ascension so quickly. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons why they're so good, Jalen Green and the Greek Freak both won NBA Players of the Week for Week 13. Excuse me. Jalen Green's numbers: 32.5 points, 3.5 assists, 63.3% from 3-point line, and the record was 3-1. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? The kid's what, 25?
Not even, I don't think, yeah. Somewhere
Uh,
like that. He's young.
yeah, incredible. And then, of course, Giannis, the Greek Freak, 32 points, 12.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. They're 4-0. There's a reasons why the
Yeah.
Bucks have shown a resurgence, and you can't forget Damian Lillard. But it's really nice to mention these players. With the entire season, every week you can bring up hopefully new players that are contributing. And for
Yeah.
those that aren't aware of their prolific nature, it's good to talk about that. Anyone else you want to bring up that we haven't brought up?
Well, I no, I mean, when it comes to guys who are kind of playing well, that's who's got those awards. So, I mean,
Yeah. Anyone
what
under the
I
table
agree.
that?
Giannis is going to always be the guy that makes it go. Doesn't matter. I mean, Damian can play great, but it's what makes Milwaukee go is Giannis, and it's even easier when the call of travel doesn't get called anymore in the NBA. So, I mean, it's easier to put up great numbers. And yeah, Jalen Green, just the Rockets in general is a surprise, right? So,
Yeah.
the guy's a crazy freak athlete, way more control. Like
Yeah.
last year, it was like playing with a guy in rec league. It was just Chuck. Like he was
Yeah.
just, and this year it's way more in control within the process of the offense with
Yeah.
the big that they have, Sagoon, right? Like he demands the ball and he makes the right pass.
Yeah.
When the pass is there, he takes it. When it's not, he gets to the basket. So you have a nice big that the offense can run through. It's not just run and gun, chucking threes because that's what it was last year, more
Yeah.
so than it is now. So
Yeah.
way more control for him, and it shows. Like kid is a freak athlete, and obviously can shoot it once when he's playing well, he can shoot the ball.
He's
But
got beautiful rhythm, beautiful stroke. He's got a 40-inch
just
vertical.
crazy, yeah,
And,
crazy athlete. Yeah,
and
so
he seems like such a nice kid. I remember when he got drafted, he looked like he was like a pimp from Saturday Night Fever in the late 70s, and with the flash outfit and everything, and I was like, wow, okay.
yeah, I don't know
If
about
you,
these self guys.
no, but I mean, it's not like Grady Dick showing up in the red sequined
Oh, you're right.
outfit.
Yeah,
I,
agree.
I
Yeah,
right there, I was just like, oh my god, talk about making a statement. But just because you
yeah,
have money doesn't mean you got taste. You know what I mean?
that's for sure. Look at
Um,
that hat you're wearing.
the Knicks. I mean, I don't need to say anything about my Knicks. They're playing great basketball. They're in my opinion, they're a top 6 team in the NBA right now. And it's
Yeah,
only half. We're only halfway there. So you can say
I
whatever
would,
you want about the Knicks, but I wear
I
the
would put
Knicks
him.
with pride.
I would put him seventh, but yeah, sixth is fair.
Well, I mean, it's halfway through the year. Just
Yeah,
wait till the season
I would
finishes.
put him behind the Nuggets, which would be make them seventh right now.
No, they're better than the Nuggets. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're having that conversation because I really thought the Nuggets are going to fall out of contention without.
Well, unfortunately for the Knicks, everybody on their team is going to be so tired by the time the playoffs
No,
come.
it's not going to be tired. They're going to be
And
so well rested, in such great shape
Tom
that the
Thibodeau,
training the training staff is
seven
taking
dudes.
care of them, and they'll
I'm playing
blow out so
seven
many
dudes.
teams that they don't have to play 46 minutes a game.
Yeah, well,
And
you wait till it
all they
comes.
need to do is give Mikal Bridges the ball a lot more because
And
he
then
is
I guess big news for Orlando. One of the Franz Wagner is back, so he just came back tonight.
Franz Wagner.
Wagner brothers are back in Orlando and with
Yeah,
Poncho, and they've kind of had a little bit of a falling off for sure. But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
about for players. That's what I would. Yeah,
They Orlando. They're just one of these teams that does not belong where their record dictates, and that's because of their backcourt. Have one of the most inconsistent, injury riddled
backcourt. Yeah,
backcourts in the NBA, and yet Jamal
yeah.
Mosley keeps on finding a way to get these guys winning. And go is
But Gilbert for sure.
6 games with a concussion protocol. Seriously, who needs That's 10 days. It's 2 weeks. Like what
Yeah.
happened? He put his head into a cement wall. Like, come on, man. I
Well, his name's
honestly, I think he
Gilbert.
needs a haircut and shave the beard, and he'll be out of. He'll be out of. I
I
think
like
the concussion is caused
I
by
like
his bad hair and his
I
beard.
like their egg. I like their egg tag '70s look. I'll keep that.
Yeah,
A
well,
name like Go Go, got to keep it. You got to have a look
yeah.
when your name's Go Go.
Blasey
So yeah, you
from
got to have a look.
Georgia. I love
Yeah.
him.
So
I
yeah.
love him. All right, well, Trent, let's segue into where is the NBA right now, leading into to the trade deadline is coming. Do you want to just talk about briefly about who you think might be moved before we go into the Eastern and
Well,
Western Conference?
Jimmy Butler's getting traded at some point.
No
I really
way.
hope that.
Why?
I really hope Miami trades him to like Utah. I
So you
don't.
hope he trades him to one of the worst teams in the league just to
Yeah. Why does he get to make 50 million and then say I want to be traded? Oh, and I'd love to go to Phoenix. Yeah, I'm sure you would like to go to Phoenix.
so would I.
I mean, it's the again what I said about the league, man. Inmates are running the asylum, and if
Yeah.
a guy like Pat Riley, like I said, he's not. That's not the guy to be messing with. Pat Riley's about the Miami Heat first. It's
Yeah.
about the name on the front, not on the back. And
Yeah.
that guy, people can say whatever they want about him, but that guy is a basketball guru. As a player, as a coach, as a manager, as the president, that guy's done it all in the world of basketball, and he's been very successful at everything he's done.
Yeah.
So
And his record and stats show it. He's in the
yeah,
top 1% of
I'm,
players and
I'm, I'm
coaches
on
ever.
the I'm on the that side of the fence with it. I see online a lot more Miami fans are slowly starting to really say, "Yeah, get out of here, trade this guy. Like we've had enough." I just hope they don't trade him, or if they do trade him to Phoenix, they get a great haul and take them
They can't get a great haul if they trade him because there's no one on Phoenix to pay.
exactly, and that's the
Unless you're
problem.
going to take back Beal. I
Trade him
mean,
to trade him to someone like see if you can get a first round pick from OKC for him. Like, you know, so,
you know where I would trade him. I would try to trade him. I'd try to trade him to the Pelicans and try to get Zion.
yeah, why
At
not?
least you're getting a young kid that's 24 years old,
Yeah,
and maybe you can mold him in that the culture of the Heat. But at the end
exactly.
of the day, we joked about it pre-show. I am so over Jimmy Butler and his bullshit, and it's and everybody else is too, including
Yeah,
and nobody, you know, yeah, he's well liked and so on. He's a multimillionaire, but I wouldn't have that cancer in my team. And honestly, what you want to give up the show for a guy that's turning 36 and
yeah,
he wants a 3-year extension of 200 million? I don't think
yeah.
so.
No, Pat Riley's not doing it. And the people that were all upset with Pat Riley at first, I think, are slowly realizing that it's not personal.
Yeah.
Pat Riley, the NBA, when you own a team or run a team, it is a business. He is running a business.
And he's doing a
Usually the
damn
boss
fine
is the
job.
president.
And
Usually the boss is the president, not the guy running around.
no, actually, the owner
So,
Mickey is a multi-billionaire. He owns all the cruise
sure.
ships
I'm just
and but
saying,
they have a great relationship.
Pat
And
Riley's running it.
Riles, everyone calls him Riles, is like Coach. He's one of the record-wise one of the players in the history of the NBA that has more NBA championships as a
Dude,
player and
he
coach
is
than
not. The
anybody
Glazers that
else.
own the Heat, and they own the Buccaneers as well.
Mickey
They
Aarons.
They do not, they're not even dabbing their finger on how to run the team. They let that guy run the team. Don't
No,
think for a
they
minute.
do, but Mickey and Pat are really tight, eh?
Sure,
And
but
Mickey
Pat's
trusts
running
him
the
one hundred
show.
percent. But look at Pat
I
Riley.
mean,
I'd trust him too. I
yeah.
mean, who
I
are you going to
mean,
find a guy like that?
yeah. But I just hope he trades him. I hope he goes somewhere where he's not on a team that's could be really good if he gets there. Um, I don't care if it's a playoff
Trent,
team.
it'll be the same thing. He'll play 50 games.
New Orleans would be
He'll
great.
bitch and
New
moan.
Orleans would
He'll
be a
miss
great spot.
flights. He'll,
Yeah.
you know, I got no
New
time
Orleans
for
would
him.
be a great spot. Even if they could get Brandon Ingram and some draft picks or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But Zion would be great. Zion would be a great pickup for the Heat, just for
yeah.
the
Oh, that
size and
would.
everything else, right?
But
So,
even Ingram, I think, would be really good for the Heat. He
yeah,
fits into there really well.
yeah.
But
I,
who
I
else?
I just
There's
don't want to. I just don't like these guys
what about Levine,
holding
Zach?
out and then demanding where you should be traded. Get out of here with that, man. I don't want to
So
hear
what
that.
about? Well, everyone's been doing it for so long now; they get away with it. But Zach Levine
Yeah.
is gone because he's playing so well, and Chicago was waiting for him to play well so they could just get a bucket,
Hmm.
boatload of picks. So what do you think? Lakers are going to pull that trigger?
Um, yeah, I don't know. The Lakers.
I don't think they need to. I think their backcourt right now, their starting
Yeah,
lineup is 6'6", 6'6",
yeah.
6'9", and 6'11".
They're going to be competitive, but they're not winning anything, so that's fine.
Chicago.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of teams that are after Levine and Vukovic, right?
Oh,
So,
Vooch is gone because he's
so
playing way
they're
beyond.
asking a lot. They're asking a lot for him. I know that.
Well, I mean,
So,
because he's. But the thing is, he's 35, and he's playing out of his mind, and
yeah.
it will be a decline. So, it depends. If people want to win now, Vooch is a guy that the Lakers could probably try to get instead of
Well, the
Levine.
Mavericks with bigs, right? Both Lively and Kleba, they're broken ankle, so they're both out right now.
Well, it's a good thing Daniel
So
Gafford. Have you seen what he did last week?
I
Very impressive.
should have kept PJ when I had him because he's getting tons of minutes right now
I
too.
picked them both up. I picked
So
them both up as soon as Luca
yeah,
because
well, we can go in the standings east and west if you want.
yeah, please go ahead.
All right, so Cleveland's still. I mean, unless they have a big fall off, they're gonna be the number one seed. I mean, it's only 5 game lead, but with where the schedule's at 50 games almost, that's
They
just over half the year.
they got Mobley back
And
now too.
yeah, and Mobley back. Um, I mean, the East, like you said, the Knicks is third. It's Cleveland, Boston, the Knicks, and the Bucks. The Pacers, even though the last 2 games were the shits, they actually have jumped now. They're back. They're up in that fifth spot now at 25 and 20. Like they were playing 500 below 500, so they've played. They put together, I think 6-2 or something like that, 8-2 in the last 10. So I mean, they're coming around a little bit. Some injuries are back for them. So them in Milwaukee, I mean, I think the top 3 teams at the end of the year are going to be the ones that are there now, and that's Cleveland, Boston, and the Knicks. We picked the Knicks at the start. They have a really good team. It's just durability when you play that many minutes. These guys are. I mean, I don't think they need to trade for anybody. I think they have the right team. It's just if they could find some depth via free agency or just some guys who can play a couple minutes extra a game in
Yeah.
those games. I mean,
I just don't think it's in the
talent-wise,
DNA. I think
they,
Tom
they,
Thibodeau
they play
just
D. Yeah,
seven. He plays seven man
I
rotation,
know.
maybe eight if
That's
there's an
crazy.
injury.
Yeah.
So
And then you got again the other surprise, like we talked about, Orlando kind of had fallen off. Is the Pistons? Pistons are in sixth spot in the East right now. Cade
very impressive.
Cunningham is playing out of his mind.
Very impressive.
And
We brought that out
just,
last week. Yeah.
yeah, he was such a good college player. So it's good to see him
Yeah.
after some injuries, like playing the way he's playing. Probably be the playing like this. Probably be the comeback player of the year or one of the finalists for
Well,
sure.
you've mentioned that numerous times, but when
So
Ivy went down with the fracture of the tibia,
yeah,
it
yeah,
actually, unfortunately for Ivy, he's a young player. He's got many years, but it actually helped Detroit's rotation.
yeah,
It helped the coach
yeah.
understand the importance
Like
of an 8 man rotation and
yeah,
giving people.
and the importance of playing Durant the right proper minutes.
Thank you,
You know,
thank you.
like
Somebody,
sheesh, man. Yeah, like I mean,
I gave up on him.
they're, they're playing pretty well, man.
I know.
They're there, but the
Yeah,
Pacers definitely have picked it up, which is we talked about them at the start. The way they were playing was very disappointing.
yeah,
Actually, the two teams that I really liked at the start of the season as teams I wanted to watch because they're fun to watch actually have been playing better,
yeah.
East and West. And then you got again Orlando got Wagner back, Pablo's back there, Banchero. I mean, I don't think the Heat being in 8 spots probably sustainable with what's going on there, the turmoil going on. Who knows, right?
Depends. It
And
depends
the
what they get for Butler.
Hawks have kind of fallen off a little bit. 4-6 in their last 10. Couple injuries, Johnson getting hurt, and DeAndre Hunter's been in and out. But Johnson getting hurt is a big blow
It's
to them. He was
it's the
playing great.
biggest blow. It's the biggest
Oh, he
blow.
was playing good.
But also like Trey has been playing out of his mind and playing some of
Yeah,
the best basketball of his career, and he's got plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendon issues. Honestly, that's very dangerous for the type of workload that kid gets. He
probably the
gets
side,
38,
probably the side
38 minutes a game.
Probably the side effects from probably all the Propecia he uses to try to keep that hair because
Oh my
it's
God,
like holy moly, man.
that is just not fair of
You
you.
see the top of that kid's head? Holy moly,
Dude, it looks like he paint sprays his head
it's
to
come on,
cover
man.
up the balding.
You got too much money. Just get hair transplants or shave it off. One of the two.
It's not that easy.
So,
It's not,
it's
and
pretty
people
funny,
can't
man.
do it.
I
I
love it.
know.
Hey, man, I love it. He owns it, so good
I
on him.
mean, Derek White just got ridiculed by Shaq and all of the guys on
He did.
TNT, and the poor kid
Yeah,
just and he had to shave his head and grow a beard because
whatever.
he was so distraught and
It
destroyed.
wasn't just them. There's a lot of. I think a lot of players were saying the same thing.
No,
But
I mean we both have high forehead hair levels, and that's just the
and
way the
then
head
as
is.
your hair recedes, your forehead gets bigger. Kind of how it works.
Mine doesn't recede. It's just mine's always been high, and I
No,
have a big head,
you just have
not
a
as big
massive.
as yours. If you look at Trent's head and you look at mine, two of my head fits in his rim. You know what I'm saying?
The cameras are different. Sorry.
Oh yeah, there we go. And see, EV Mux,
Paul's camera.
the
Paul's camera.
software that I used. I want to clarify this for Trent because
Well, Paul's camera takes 20 pounds off his head weight.
no,
So
I took 20 pounds off my body. That's why I look the way I do now. I'm
that's
190
all right.
pounds.
Let's keep with basketball. So
It's all about me. What are you talking about? It's the
I know
Canadian
it's all
Bro
about
Show.
you. It usually is all about you.
But
I know.
you are the co-host of the most, so I have to give you kudos.
So you got again the Bulls. I don't think the Bulls, especially if they start pulling triggers on trades,
Yeah, they're toast.
they'll be a lottery team. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then you got the Sixers. Yeah, your boy Embiid. I had enough of that guy.
my boy.
It's over.
Jesus, I can't
And then you
stand
got the
him.
Nets. The Raptors are actually playing a little bit better lately.
Yeah,
It's
well,
nice
you
to
know,
see him have quickly back. But the kid I told you about before that you didn't know was Shed. Played at Houston.
yeah,
Was the player of the year there. Good
yeah,
player.
yeah,
And he's getting some time in Toronto. Sure, maybe
yeah.
he's not his full-time starter, but nice
No,
player. They actually have a
yeah.
couple of great backups there with Shed and Dontavian Mitchell. I like him too. He plays defense, but they're backup players. But they're playing well. And hey, and your other boy is actually on the court, not wearing a cowboy hat, is playing pretty well. I
My
mean,
God, he'll be
Chris Boucher, oh
so.
Canada,
There's
he's been going off too.
no. Okay. The two players you just mentioned are both be gone by in the next week.
Yep. I agree.
Boucher and
Yep.
Cowboy.
And Brown.
They're gone.
Yeah, I
And
believe so
and
too.
and guess where Cowboy's going? He's going back to Indiana.
I thought maybe you go back to Denver.
Yeah. Well,
One,
Denver wants him.
I bet
Denver
they
wants
do.
him, but Indiana doesn't have room for him, so it's probably going to
No,
be Denver.
yeah. So, and it fit in a lot more with that cowboy outfit in
In
Indiana than it could
Indiana, Yahoo!
have. And then, but they've been playing a lot better lately. So good on the Raps for picking it up a bit. Have a little pride.
Well,
And then you
yeah.
got Charlotte right behind them and the Wizards. The Wizards are just terrible. The fact that it's like it's a wasteland for you got Kuzma and Poole and Valanciunas, these poor guys that people just forget about them. They just go to Washington and it's like, yeah, put up some nice numbers, but you've won 6 games. You're
So
6-38 right now.
Kuz comes back
Seriously.
from another one of his mystery ailments, and has his best game of the year, 30 points. And after
Yeah.
the show, the reporters asked him, "So, what have you done?" He goes, "Absolutely nothing. I don't care anymore."
Uh,
And
yeah.
people just froze. And
Yep.
he doesn't care. He's
No.
paid. He's young. He doesn't
Sure.
care. And we won six. It's not about me individually. It's about the team, and we haven't
Yeah.
performed, and that's not on us as players. And he's just, honestly, I can't
Yeah.
stand that mofo. I
And then
can't stand him.
you got Jordan Poole. He's still talking about getting punched in the
Another
face by Mr.
another
Triple
guy can't.
Double.
You know
Right?
what? He's lucky he didn't get his jaw removed from his head, because
I mean,
that
he's
guy
still
is
yeah,
another.
yeah,
Honestly, these kids,
yeah.
I don't know what happened.
The Wizards.
The only guy I like on the Wizards is the big Lithuania. It's the only guy I like, and he'll be gone.
Valanciunas, yeah, yeah,
He'll be gone.
yeah. He'll be
Somebody will
gone.
grab him.
But then, so we'll go to the West again. Team that we're rooting for, obviously OKC. 37-8, best record in the league.
Incredible.
Um, you know, um, just good all around team. Play defense. They play 8 guys, sometimes 9.
Yeah.
Hartenstein's back now again. Still waiting on Holmgren. I mean, they're just loaded.
Holmgren's getting close. They're talking a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so they're the best team right now for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
SGA is right there.
Yeah.
Uh, for the MVP kind of talk. I mean, Jokic is just like we said. I think SGA should have won it last year,
Yeah.
not Jokic. And again, because how do you not give it to Jokic right now the way he's going? If he keeps doing this, like
It's
it's pretty
his
tough.
best career so far,
Yeah,
and he's won three
so
MVPs, and his
it's
numbers are better than the previous three.
yeah, it's insane. Yeah, and then you got the team we talked about. You got the Rockets again, really good coaching. He's done it. They play 7, they play 8, they play 9. Like they mix it
They
up quite a bit.
they can play whatever they want. They've got the
Yeah,
depth.
and they can play physical. They can play a physical defense, and they can play run and gun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same as Memphis. Memphis can play the
Yeah.
same way, and they're right behind. They actually got one more win than Houston, but they also got one more loss. But they're scoring 123 points a game.
Yeah.
Memphis,
Yeah.
right? Most in the league. Denver's next at 120, but those two are the only two teams in the 120s per
And
game.
I love watching both of them because I love run and gun.
Unreal, yeah.
I
It's,
love
yeah.
teams that can run and gun that play D.
And the thing is, it's not even, again, what we talked about, though. It's not even uh, run and gun per se when it comes to the Nuggets. It's just that it's like when Golden State was playing really well. As I said before in the show, last year, Jokic, like you said about the offense runs through him. Yeah, he led the league. He's like fourth in touches, but he's like 70th in possession. The ball moves there. It goes
Yeah.
to a spot. It's not just standing and dribbling. Those teams are fun to watch.
Yeah.
Houston's playing that way. It's not
Yeah.
just one guy standing and dribbling. Even the Clippers, it's not they're standing watching James Harden
Trent,
dribble the basketball.
that type of basketball game is not just invented because of one team. This has been going on through decades of the NBA. The
Yeah.
teams that learn how to move the ball and do
Oh,
it succinctly and concisely will
yep,
win, but they need to play defense. The ones that can score, that
yep.
play defense, because good offense will beat good defense in the NBA at
And
the
the,
top
and the
league.
thing is too is that they don't kind of like the Phoenix Suns did with D'Antoni and Nash. That when they do get scored on,
Don't forget
somebody
Amari.
just doesn't, yeah, like but somebody just doesn't step out of bounds and give the ball in. It's like going up the court. Let's go
Yeah.
after they get scored on. So they're
Yeah.
making teams run back.
Yeah.
Denver always has that little advantage of playing in altitude too. So when teams come up there, you start playing that pace.
It's not Trent. Have you ever been to Denver? It's not a little advantage. It is.
No, no, it's like, hey, dude, even Calgary's like that. You go play basketball. I played a Masters tournament in Calgary, and before games, I'm like, I got to adjust my breathing because the air's thinner. It just is there, even, and it's even
And
more
it
so.
had nothing to do with what you were putting in your lungs or how much you were
Nothing. No, I was
partying.
in good shape. No. So and so you got Oklahoma, Houston, Memphis is right there. Denver has played a lot better this last month and a half.
They're playing the
The
best
Lakers are right
basketball of their season.
there. Lakers are playing better. Clippers are in and out. They kind of picked it up again. They went on a little slump and now they're back. T Wolves again a little bit better. I don't know what to think of. So Dallas is so many injuries. It's hard to kind of even know what's going on there. But like Phoenix is a team that it's like I could roll the dice on which team's going to show up when you watch their games.
Yeah.
I don't know which team's showing up when they play. It is like all over the place. The other team that's playing well since they changed coaches is Sacramento. They're like 7-3 in their last 10, playing kind of like how I thought they would play. Like I said, that was my team in the West,
Yep.
like Indiana in the East, that are younger teams that I like how they play, the style they play. It's up tempo. They
Yeah.
get after people. Well, they seem to be. Doug Christie seems to be just a different voice. That's usually sometimes what it takes. I mean, when the guys playing make more money than the guy that's supposed to be in charge, right? It's sometimes that dynamic, and after a while, those that voice just kind of falls on deaf ears, and it happens at every level of coaching,
You
right?
know,
So,
I think one of the biggest problems, and I've said this for a long about Brown, and he's very well respected, the coach they just fired. And yes, he played probably a little bit of basketball in his career and everything, but he was really not a basketball player. You know, players that are multimillionaires that, listen to a guy like Brown, who's never really played the game at any high level, they'll just block him out. They'll block him out. NBA players do it all the time, and that's exactly what they did. And but while they were blocking him out, they were listening to Jay Triano. They were listening to Doug Christie. They were listening to the other players. It was just that the star players of that team had to get rid of Brown, and it's a league run by players, and that's exactly what they did. And it turned around, and they still have problems on the bench. They still need a big. They need a big to give Sabonis some help down low. It's amazing how that guy plays, but I really enjoy watching them play, and I think that they're a team to watch if they can. They're going to make some moves at the trade line. I think they're going to add some talent. They're going to add a big if they can somehow.
yeah,
Maybe Vooch.
yeah, yeah. And then you have Golden State's come back to earth. They just don't have the talent. And I'm with you with the Indiana kid. Like he needs to play. He's got to play more than Looney. I mean, Looney's a good backup. I mean, Green, I don't even think another guy who I don't know how much he even wants to play anymore. His body's, the way he
He
plays.
wants to play. He's under contract. He's making a lot of money, but
Yeah,
he's he's
I don't
he's a
know.
he's a triple single. I mean, he's the only
He's
player in the
he's
history of the
Mr.
NBA.
He's Mr. Triple Single. There's no question about that. So,
Right? And for people that
um,
don't understand that, Trent, what do you mean when you say that? Because you bring it up a lot.
I'm not even gonna say it's not. If you don't
Just
know, you
now
listen to
help
this
the
show.
people out that don't understand what you mean.
No, if you've listened to this show enough times and you don't know what I mean by that one, then no, I mean I'm
Dude,
not
it's not
helping
like
you
we're
out with
getting
that.
thousands and thousands of views. We're working our way through it. We've got like last week was one of our better weeks and we got 50 views. So, you know, help people
Yeah.
out. Essentially, what Trent's saying is he doesn't respect his overall game. Yes, he's won 4 championships as part of a
He's a great
team.
player. Hey, dude, Michigan State kid. I'm a Michigan State fan, so I'm all about it. But I'm just saying, he's at the end of his career, and it's showing in in uh, in Golden State now. They started out the year a little hot, but a couple injuries. I think Kuminga is their biggest trade bait they could hang out there. They're trying to play him, and then he got hurt.
Who's injured
And
again.
yeah, and he was playing decent before he got hurt.
He
Like
was
I was
playing
thinking, geez,
great. He was playing great.
they might actually get something for this guy. And now he's hurt again. So
And hopefully not have to give up Wiggins.
I don't think they should be. I don't think any of us should be surprised where Golden State is. They're older. Their guys are the young guys. They didn't really give a chance to play the last couple of seasons. I like that kid from Indiana.
Yeah.
That's the big. He's an
Yeah.
athlete. He's strong. he's got to play. Um,
Well,
yeah,
it's about time. You talk about Trace
they're in
Davis,
trouble.
right?
Yeah, yeah, they're probably they're a fringe, like maybe they can sneak in and get that 10th play-in spot
Yeah,
game.
and
I,
I hate to say this,
I
but
just think it's gonna happen.
my favorite shooting guard of all time has shown a serious drop off in towards the first half of this year, averaging just under 23 points a game. He still can shoot. He still can take over. I love
Yeah,
him. Chef Curry is my favorite shooter of all time. But at the
yeah,
end of the day, I think what Trent just said, I totally concur. I completely agree. It's
yeah.
obvious.
It just it is. And then the team right behind them, a couple wins behind them, is the exact opposite, and that's the Spurs. It's all youth, right? Let's go. Let's play.
Yeah,
You've got a generational talent in Wembyama. I
yeah.
mean, it's like having an arcade character.
Chris Paul was a magic
Um,
pickup. I gotta
Yeah,
say.
it was a good pickup for that young team for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
He made the comment that Popovich calls him every after all the games
yeah,
and shares with what he's seeing. Like, and he
yeah,
Paul's is saying, "Yeah, like I appreciate it." He's phoning me saying, "This is what we need to do." So he's got a coach on the floor with Chris Paul for sure.
yeah.
It's a
Oh
good
God,
pickup
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
Um,
Entering his
yeah,
20th year, which is
yeah.
incredible.
And then you got the Blazers. I mean, I get what the Blazers are trying to do, and they're a fun team to watch. They're young. They're kind of what Houston was 2 years ago.
Yeah, good
They're,
point.
they're really
Good
not that
point.
far off of that.
And
Then you got,
Scoot last
yeah,
night, he had a
good.
great game, and he's showing leadership. It takes a while, but I
Yeah.
really
The
like the
Canadian
kid.
kid, yeah, the Canadian kid Sharp too has moments.
Sharp's
Um,
got some skill. Yeah,
yeah. So they're like I said, they're kind of like the Rockets from 2 years ago. They got all these young guys that are just kind of
they got to get rid of Aiton. They got to trade that guy.
yeah. And then you got New Orleans who we talked about and Utah. And,
Woo.
you know,
Although
again,
McCallum went off for like 52 the other day, but
yeah, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to happen once in a while. What's the saying? The sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. That's about what
oh,
happened there.
give the
So
guy some kudos, man. 52 at the NBA level
he's
is
in the
tough.
NBA. He's a really good player. Obviously, he's in the NBA. I don't have an issue
Yeah,
with that. So
yeah. All
just
right.
again,
Good.
there's a team that they put a lot of. They look 2 years ago. They looked like wow, look at this team:
Yeah,
McCollum and Ingram and Williamson and
yeah, yeah.
Valanciunas was there. I mean,
Stacked. But they
and
didn't play
then
him. They didn't
no, they
play
just
him.
had injuries. Well, then they had injuries. I mean,
Well, you know what it is? Their
Frank
GM.
starts to eat himself out of the league, and
I'll never say anything bad about any one player or any one part of
no,
the administration, but their GM, I don't know what happened to the dude. He seemed to have it going in the early part of
yeah,
his career,
he
and
did, yeah,
as soon as he got to the Pelicans,
agreed.
a lot of people say it's the
Yeah,
voodoo. I don't want to say that is the case. I don't know what voodoo is. I have no
yeah,
idea. But
yeah.
players have talked about being there, and there's some sort of stigma that seems to be prevalent. And I can't believe that that's the case when you're running a basketball team. But wow, are they bad?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we got.
Awesome. Well,
Trying to
good
check out
job.
a little bit of the unrivaled of the 3-on-3 women's, and
Yeah.
their ratings are so, but their ratings are so because my girl's not playing in it.
Well,
So
and she won't.
and there was a big trade in the WNBA yesterday. So
Yeah.
Jewel Lloyd from Seattle going to Vegas, so they're going to have their big four, and Kelsey Plum going to the Sparks in that deal from Vegas. So
Where do you think Brittany's going to assign the big
I don't
gal?
know. There's a lot of free agents right now. Like I said, they're going to get most of these players are only signing 1 year deals because again, salaries are about to go up when they get out of the CBA
Yeah.
next year in 2025. They got a new CBA coming in 2026. I'm thinking the players say you're welcome to Caitlin Clark or thank you to Caitlin Clark, what you should be doing, and they are all
You
pay
see
is
that,
about to
folks?
go up
You
in
see
that
that?
pay,
That is called
pay is about to go up in that league.
that's the
So
sign for cheddar. More
yeah,
cheddar coming.
yeah, that pay is about to go up in that league in a year. So a lot of these players are only signing 1 year deals anyway. So you're going to see a lot of movement, maybe even
Yeah.
next year again.
Excellent. I love it.
Uh,
I love it.
but yeah, I mean that's where we're at with ball right now.
Awesome. And Trent, that was a great show. We're going to wrap it up. What is our timing right now? Just out of curiosity.
Just over an hour and 5 minutes.
Excellent. We're right on time. I just once again thank you, Trent. I apologize for the technical issues that
Yeah,
we struggled with. We're just a few days late, but Trent gave me a call today, and I've been struggling with this flu, and I feel like I'm over the hump. And I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to do this on a Monday because Week 14 is going to be very interesting. There's like 20 teams are playing 4 games, and really interesting how the schedule is finally starting to look a little bit normal, whatever that means. And in the meantime, I just wanted to say to everybody, thank you kindly for joining us for episode 13, and for all the folks that added us and watched our show. We had our best show in a week, essentially, in terms of numbers and also subscribers. So thank you for those people that watched and subscribed. And as you can see, the subscribe button's back up where our logo used to be. It's very important for us. We really appreciate that. It helps the algorithms, all the stuff that most people don't really care about, but we do. We're not making money from this. We do this out of our passion, and we're hoop junkies from the heart. And Trent and I are old school friends, and it's always great to hang out with my old school friends in every level, and hopefully that shows. Hopefully you enjoy the content. I think it's quite good. It's free, and we really enjoy it, and we look forward to next week's show. In the meantime, on behalf of Trent Rowley, the co-host of The Most, my name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. The first iteration is All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. 27 episodes is going to be up when the show's finished. The show is live in our minds, but it will be up tomorrow on YouTube. And then the third iteration is, which Trent was giving me a hard time in the beginning of the show, is all real estate with Paul Bale and guests, because I am a realtor, I'm an investor and landlord and all that fun stuff. And there's a ton of information out there. And if you're an investor or landlord, or if you're interested in real estate in Canada, mostly in Canada, Trent's done very well in real estate in Canada. So don't ignore his head shaking like that, because it really should be this. If you knew his story, he lives on the 16th hole of a golf course. So he understands the importance of good real estate investing.
Yeah,
and his wife is an actual realtor as well. Yeah. And she's lovely, and please say hi to her for me. And thanks again for joining. It's Paul Bale, and on behalf of Trent Rowley, the Canadian Bro Show, all basketball from the Hoop Junkies, Pauly and Rowley. We'll see you next week. Thanks kindly, everyone. Oh, stop it. Stop it. I mean, come on. Oh, here we go.
Oh, God. Please stop recording anytime.
I'm telling you. Let's go. See you next week, everyone. I got to cut Trent off because he just